We're going to keep going on our journey. So we are working our way through, and we're on book 2, Sutra number 21. 221. The translation says, the scene, which is Prakriti, we've been talking about Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti, the material things, the scene only exists for the sake of the seer, which would be Purusha. So Prakriti exists for the sake of Purusha. What does that mean? When our teacher, Swami Satchidananda, does his discussion of this sutra, he brings up something that at first I was sort of like, this is one of those things he does where he just talks. And I read it a few times and I sat with it a bit, and it really kind of landed for me. So I want to talk about his discussion of the word understand. I'll start with what he wrote. He says, we think Purusha is doing the experiencing. In reality, the Purusha isn't experiencing anything, it's just a witness. But since it appears to be experiencing, we need to try and understand it from that level. So then he goes on to say the word understanding is a combination of two words, under and stand. And what he's saying in his explanation is that basically we all have a stand, like a place from which we see things. And the material world influences that. So all the Prakriti, all the things and all the worldliness creates our experience, and we stand under that experience. And it's like the saying, like, to take a stand, which in a sense is like kind of touching into that idea of rightness. Like, we have a point of view, we have a stand, and we think our point of view is the right one. And what we're learning in the sutras, to my understanding, is to see that we have a point of view and that it may or may not be how things really are. So we have an understanding of the world because we're filtering it through all of our experiences. And so our point of view, our understanding, is a product of the world that we're in. And it's not really how things are. So, anybody in a relationship has experienced this, where we have a point of view about something. And if you're like me, you think you're right. It might be something as simple as how you want to arrange the drawers in the kitchen. Right? So the way I like the drawers next to the stove, there's a certain pattern of where I want things to be when I'm cooking. Like, these are all the cutting things, these are all the stirring things, and then over here is like serving things. Every once in a while, my husband, who doesn't do a lot of cooking, gets a little frustrated by the way I've got things organized. And he wants the stuff in a different order based on his point of view. And it's not right or wrong, right? It's just a different point of view. And, you can get in a fight about it, or you can just say, okay. And then I can either adapt to it and say, I'm just gonna, this is okay with me. Or we can get in this game, it's kind of like the thermostat game where, like, when he's not looking, I put things back to the setting on the thermostat or the drawer that I want it in. And then when I'm not looking, he sets them back. And we're just in this like constant, like trying to create our world the way we want it. And it's kind of a useless game at a certain level. And depending on how tightly we're holding on, it can cause more or less stress for us. My nature's become more easygoing in some ways, so a lot of times I just leave it the way it is. I might mindlessly put things back where I've always put them, like without any malice or sort of like cunning, but he may not experience it that way because he doesn't know that there's no malice or cunning. He might think I'm still in the game of like, I want it my way. So this is what we're trying to open up to, is like really getting, like, even as something as simple as like how we organize our space when we're living with another human being, like how our rightness and how our interpretation of people's actions may or may not actually be the truth. And so, you know, little things are the things that can wake us up that don't carry too much drama, right? So I can wake up around the drawers in the kitchen and see like, oh yeah, it's just different points of view. It's not a big deal. I have my stand. This is where I'm standing when I make these choices. I'm standing from efficiency in the way I like to cook. And he's standing from like some other point of view that I can't even really tell you what it is because I don't live in his head. But it's more than that. It's more than kitchen drawers. It's everything. Right? It's politics, it's religion, it's all the things we're not supposed to talk about because it gets very personal very quickly when it's actually not very personal. And I think that's what this practice is asking us to see, is that, you know, as we start to pay attention to the bigger down to the smaller things and back out to the bigger things, we see like we have a point of view around everything. And our point of view is, I'll use a very specific word, it's infecting our experience. And sometimes it's just affecting it, but sometimes it's infecting our experience. And it's not serving our higher self. It's teaching our higher self or informing our higher self. I guess our higher self doesn't need to be taught. But it's part of our journey, is to wake up to those things and say, oh, how important is this? And he goes on to say, I don't remember if it's in this sutra or a later sutra that we'll get to, but you know, in the end, for those who are enlightened, it no longer infects them. Right? So if you get to a place where like you're living in the Purusha world, like you're not affected by these things anymore. And I find myself less affected than I used to be through this work that I've been doing for however many years. That's my hope, that as a group we work on these practices, that we start to see that we're less affected. He tells us, you know, when you do reach samadhi, when you are enlightened, you'll no longer be affected at all. So I know I'm not there yet because I still sometimes open the drawer. I'm like, like, where's the knife? But at least I could laugh at myself now. Like I open the drawer, I feel the thing, and then I'm like, oh, there you go again. Caring about the knife. Any thoughts or comments before we just practice waking up? All right. Let's practice. When you're situated, you can close your eyes or lower them. Create a foundation on purpose. Notice your hands. Take a moment and notice your mouth and your jaw. And do something on purpose there as well today, just to seeing and creating. Come into your breath or whatever anchor you like to use for stabilizing your attention. Cultivate an attitude of friendliness for a moment. Just a kind of a softness to what's outside of you. And keep that sense of friendliness towards yourself as well. So as we do the practice, if there's a heightening or a tightening, keep that sense of friendliness inward as well. And bring to mind something that's got a grip on you in your life right now. Something that's causing some vrittis, some fluctuations of your mind. It might be just a little dispute between you and a friend or family member, or even an associate, somebody you don't even know very well. A rightness. Let yourself kind of feel the energy that comes up when you get in your rightness. My teacher Baron calls it the should not be state, where this should not be. Notice if there's any kind of fight or flight. Do you tighten or do you get sleepy? Notice how your stand is showing up. Whether there's any kind of victim or perpetrator energy. Cultivating that sense of friendliness towards what you see. shift your attention to the other party in this energetic exchange. Consider their experience to the best of your ability. Can you access their point of view, your version of just guessing what it might be like for them? If you're pretty sure you know what they think and feel, watch out. See if you can look behind your knowing and open up just a little more sense of what might be their experience, their stand. And how about, I don't know. I don't know what it's like for them. But it's probably not easy. Can you hold this person or this group in your mind's eye and hold them with a light touch without gripping or pushing? And send them some loving kindness. That might look like the phrases of a traditional metta practice. May you be safe. May you be seen. May you feel peace. Seen might mean heard. May you feel heard. May you feel understood. And now turn and see yourself in your mind's eye. May I feel safe. feel seen, heard, and understood. May I feel peace. Generate the energy of loving kindness where it's needed most right now, towards yourself, towards the other, where you think it will be most fruitful. And now finishing up, send those same wishes you're cultivating towards all beings. So bigger circle, all beings. And now take a deeper, fuller breath. Do that again, nice kind of clearing of the physical space, the energetic space. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Insights, comments, questions? I had a little moment this morning when I got up and I was preparing for this. I checked my email. And an email I had sent on Friday that was pretty important had bounced back to me from my work at hospice. It was about a $1 million grant that we're writing that's due next week. So I sent out an email and it bounced back. So when I saw it this morning, I was like, oh, I better forward this. And I had typed the email address wrong. So I went ahead and forwarded it to this person. I was like 6 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm just in my own little world, taking care of business. And the person I sent it to saw it and replied to me, and there was a little energetic pushback. And so the thing is, I didn't send it at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning because I was trying to send a message about it. Like, I want you to pay attention to this at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Like, that wasn't my intention. But I could see how the recipient was like, oh, she's emailing me at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. Like, what a jerk. So her jerk saw my jerk and answered a little bit. She's like, well, I'm going to church, and then I'm going to my son's baseball game, and I'll talk to you on Monday. So just now when I was practicing with you, I was like, oh yeah, I need to send this woman some metta, because I mean, it wasn't my intention, but that was her experience of me. And I can totally see that. She'd be like, why are you emailing me on a Sunday morning? Like, it's Sunday, this is sacred, and here you are just getting in my energetic space. Oh, people, we're so hard. So hopefully she'll feel my metta. I didn't answer because I definitely didn't want to start a little back and forth. I was like, we'll wait until Monday. Even to say I'm sorry. I was like, we just need to step back from whatever's going on here. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Have a really good day. And remember, it's Sunday, so go to church and your baseball games. Don't answer your emails. All right, bye, you guys.
Thank you.